Oops, that's the B button. That's why I say don't press B. We do the seed of the year. Super-de duper. It me. More supers. More items. I'm getting pinballed back and forth. Can I have Morph Ball, please? No Morph Ball, but you get bombs. No math. You are not allowed to math. I am, however, allowed to keep going into left-facing doors. Well, thankfully there's a workaround in arcade. more maps. Oh dear. I'm gonna land right on a crab. Oh, missed it. Never gonna get it. Impossible. This room. I moved too far, dude. Should have been going into more left-facing doors. Oh, I am dead. Okay, not dead yet. But very close. I didn't jump. I didn't jump. I didn't jump. I didn't jump. I lied, let me back in. It's the third time I've come across that rune, isn't it? And there we go. Got that race joined. Not a bad seed. Let me get out. Whoops, that's not it. Let me get out my hat. Regular ass Samus. Second opinion, Junkoid. Third opinion, missing no. Fourth opinion. You're gonna have to convince me to not take Zelda 2 Link. Oh, Z2 Link and Sprite Can. I'll take those opinions. Yes, indeed. Seed of the year. Where's Sprite? Should we go with Sprite Can first? And then Z2 Link? I feel like I've been to Sprite Can pretty recently. Go at number 3. We'll see what palette we're dealing with. Who are my colors? Shredded eucalyptus. It's probably a really pretty shade of green. As this is the Friday after Thanksgiving, it would not surprise me if no one else was around for the race. pretty strong color. Those eucalyptus abs are crazy. So, as always, at least for the first run, if no one else shows up, I'll just pop a timer on the screen and do a solo run. If no one's around for the late race, I might just do a randomizer instead. But we'll see. I am putting the cart in front of the horse a little bit. I don't have any requests in on Rainwave right now. Let's go ahead and change that. Yeah, we've got the main theme from Plock and For Pete's Sake from Earthworm Jim on the list. As well as the, how do I pronounce that? Infinity Mijinian stage from Mega Man X6. Got some good shit lined up. And Tribute to Evil from Emperor Battle for Dune. That's a really cool song. Shame it's like 6 minutes long. I haven't actually played X6, but I do understand it's got like some of the best music out of all of the X games. And I am a sucker for basically all of the music in X1. X2 and X3 were still really cool, but it's like they got a different... It's like they got a different composer from X1 in addition to a new keyboard. I have been off and on rewatching one of PJ DeCaesar's playthroughs of X6, where he is intentionally trying to get all of the Reploids in every level infected. It's like Mega Man X the arcade. I don't play for high scores. Exactly. I am really glad that high scores are such a kind of limited thing in video games anymore. It was just something that was so prevalent in the 80s and the 90s. And it never ever mattered, because as soon as you turn the cartridge off, the high scores just get reset. So there's no permanence to it, even on the home consoles. It was only when like memory cards became a thing. Also hate anything that says endless mode. To be fair, I think that's what my custom cart of SM Arcade that Firebat got for me says on it. Just because the guys that made the custom sticker weren't instructed otherwise, I guess. And it was just what was on the website. So I've got a little bit of time here. It looks like no one else has shown up just yet. I want to real quickly look through my Steam library and see if there's anything that could possibly take the place of Sheepy on my list of pseudo-questionable games that could probably get played through in a single sitting. So let's check my questionable game catalog. See, I've got Blink the Bulb. Haven't played that since 2017. Only played it for a half hour. Probably come back to that. There's Broccoli Bob, but I've already beaten that on stream. Gold Dust. 15 megabytes. Playtime of 5 minutes. What does this game even look like? Oh, it's a Wolfenstein clone. That could be interesting. It's 49 cents on Steam right now. Doesn't say anything about being able to use a controller with it. So that could be a deterrent. Muscle Car Robot. I have a feeling this is a knockoff of a very similar game, if I'm remembering the comments. Yeah. Yeah. This is very much a knockoff of something else. Witch Sword remake? Oh no. No, that looks like something I definitely don't want to play. Yeti Adventure. That looks like a Flash game. Oh, I might actually have enough free space on my hard drive to get Grounded installed finally. That could be fun. Anything interesting and free to play? What was Alpaca Stacka? A game where you play as an alpaca and you stack things on your back. Might be interesting. It's less than half a gig. Armadusa? What is this game? 100% free retro indie game with dungeons, treasures, and online co-op. It's got a very nice, like 8-bit, 16-bit kind of art style. We say it's closer to 16-bit. How big is this game? 20 megabytes. How quick's it gonna download? It's already done. Aura Kingdom. Well, that's 13 gigs. Let's not bother with that one. Bird Gut. The fuck is this game? Hand-drawn 2D puzzle platformer from the perspective of an outcast bee who gets eaten by a bird. And discovers that the bird's internal organs are not organs at all, but facilities in which the consumed insects are brainwashed and enslaved. Okay. How big is this? 3 gigs? Probably have to come back to that one. Bubble People. Oh, I remember Bubble People. That game is sad as fuck. I'm sure there's a happy ending option, but I sure didn't fucking find it. A buttload of free games. Alright. Good old Chex Quest HD. Man, there's not a store page for this still. No, okay. I still have an entry in my free-to-play category for City of Steam Arcadia. I really wish there was still something of that game for a single-player experience, because it's such a cool-looking game. Old Maple Story music. Yo, we got Tilimorf in the race. Nice. The magic of questionable games. Dude, that is a slogan for this stream, for this entire Twitch channel. Sometimes questionable games can lead you down just the right path. Every time Maple Story music comes up on Rainwave, it makes me think I need to take another look at it. I'm not sure if I can capture that game properly, though. And obviously, I don't have anybody that I could, like, actively play the game with. It'd have to be something where, like, I talk Ponk into it. It's like, dude, let's just play this for a couple hours one week, and let's see if it's something you enjoy. If not, we don't have to touch it ever again. Anyways, I'm going to run to the restroom and I'll be right back. All right. Let's go ahead and get ready to get ready. And not seeing Firebat in the user list, so race will begin. In 3, 2, 1. Let's go. $59.80. And a 42.93. Yo, I won. Sick. Last thing in this race, I'm gonna win unless Tilimorf bites the bucket. Which I don't think he will. Whoops. Fuck. Moon Pearl. Although, honestly, if there's one game in my Steam library I actually do need to get back to at some point, it would be Hellpoint. It's just, I'm very intimidated by that game. And I think that's why the streams of it have been as much fun as they have been. My character in that game is very fragile. Everything is ready, willing, and able to take me out in a single hit. Gotta pick a night one of these nights. I need to double check if that game's installed on my external drive or if that's installed like on my laptop. Like going the glass pea shooter build. Well, that is an option in that game. Both your character and your character's pea shooter are both made out of glass. Not even my own weapon is strong enough to harm me. Got it. Let's go. Makes me feel a bit invincible as long as I keep hiding from all the enemies. Yep. I can never remember the name of it, but there's a Doom wad that's on Steam. I've played the first of the two. I can never remember the name of it. I don't think it's Sanctum. It's something close to that, though. But every time I think of playing through a more aggressive first-person shooter, I always think of some of the Doom wads that I still want to get through. And whatever the one Doom wad that I'm thinking of on Steam, pretty sure, like 99% sure that it's free to play and that it doesn't take up a whole lot of disk space. Think of the old Blake Stone games. It's on Steam. Very nice. Oh, the down back. Hack my bank account, see if I have 55 cents. Nice. I need to play more games with Steam trading cards. That's what I need to do. Should see if DC Universe Online has Steam trading cards. Start playing that shit again. I should at least start playing it again just so I can create, like, custom characters again. Because even just taking screenshots of custom characters that you can make in that engine was a lot of fun. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I own so many copies of WWF No Mercy, is I like making custom characters in video games. Got him. Or on Tunic. I'm now Game Boy Link. I am Link's Awakening. Luthia 2. Yep. I remember actually getting, like, a little ways into this game back when I was playing it on a tablet. Of course, if I'm remembering right, Lufia 2 was one of the first places I had ever heard of a dungeon like the Ancient Cave, which was like semi-randomized rooms and treasures for like 100 floors, and then you fight a big boss at the end of it. Now there's so many games out there that have like an Ancient Cave style randomizer. It's really easy to kind of lose track of it, like where that idea came from. Come on. Good old Skies of Arcadia. Of all the niche RPGs out there, I have not ever once played Skies of Arcadia. I probably should. I'd probably really like it. I think the only way I'd be able to play it is with the GameCube version. Yeah, I think there was a version of it on GameCube. Oh my god, farming, please. Yo. Never actually played through all of the mission mode in X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. I always just played through the training mode. Because in mission mode, I think you have to do the Hadouken button combo in order to use your powers. I just got a Discord ding for Murphigator going live. I didn't look over in time to see what it was he was doing. He's probably playing Sworn with PJ again. We'll have to check during the intermission and see if I can increase my watch streak. Are there streams besides this one? Only Murph and PJ. Everything else is just showing old reruns of TV shows. Like that channel that just shows nothing but old episodes of Reboot. It's fun to tune in every once in a while. Yeah, it's just like us three. Reboot channel's run by a robot, and nobody watches that channel anyways. I'm pretty sure that I have a higher average viewer count than the Reboot channel. Nice, Oath, and Felgana. I don't think I have that one. Another fucking game that I need to get back to at some point is Ys Origins. That game is a lot of fun. I seem to remember running into a really big boss and not being able to beat it. So I don't know if it's like a typical RPG where all I need to do is just grind out another handful of levels and then try again. Yeah, it's... Should also make up my mind at some point whether Like which one of the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters I want to play next as well. 'Cause I'm not really motivated to play through 3 or 5. There's a Final Fantasy besides 6? There's at least 2. Oddly enough, they're numbered 1 and 4. Must be some weird Japanese thing that I'm not sure about. Mr. Krabs! Got okay crabs. And then at some point, I'm gonna put this off as long as I can just because it's a gigantic game and I don't know if I'll ever actually finish it. But I do want to play through Final Fantasy IX at some point because I've never even touched that one. And I don't really have any strong, like, nostalgic connection with 7. It's a cool game and all, but I also kind of get the feeling like I just want to watch someone play through the Steam version of that game that cuts out the random battles. But that's also like a multi-hour investment to just watch the video. My nostalgic PS1 RPG was Chrono Cross, hands down. And I've got no real motivation to play through that one myself either. I think I'd rather just watch someone do an analysis video. And I've already watched that one. Could watch it again. Yeah, that's what I've always heard about Chrono Cross. Is that it's really cool and really bad at the same time. Mostly because of how they try to incorporate characters from Chrono Trigger into it. I don't know if they just thought that that was expected, but it's like, I mean, if you can't find a good way to do it, then why call it a Chrono game? Yeah, Chrono Trigger was shoehorned into the story, and not in a very satisfactory way, from everything I've ever heard. Yeah, it really should have just been its own standalone thing. And that right there is the reason why I don't really like a whole lot of PlayStation 1 RPGs. The stories of almost all of these RPGs are so over the top complicated and convoluted that by the time you're on like your third or fourth session playing in the game and you're like over 10 hours deep, you're starting to have trouble following all of this bullshit. And yeah, the soundtrack for Chrono Cross is the big reason why I have nostalgia for it. Boom! Yeah, the massive playable character roster. That's probably why I haven't gotten into Suikoden. And you control an entire army, and each and every one of them is a playable character. Fuck. But like every time I watch one of those multi-hour long analysis videos on a PS1 RPG, I find myself just getting lost in how over the top all of the stories are. Never played Suikoden. The remaster's on my wish list just to figure out what it's about. Yeah, I used to watch OmniGamer do speedruns of Suikoden 2. And I mean, if the games are anything like each other, then it's just a big, long, overly complicated JRPG story about war. But it's got multiple different play styles to it, which is nice. Like, it not only has, like, the big army battles, but it's also got, like, party battles as well. And there's lots and lots of side quests and mini games, and there's like a castle base building mechanic to it as well. And that was all just in 2. I'm not sure how the later ones develop on that. I only know that 2 is the only one of them that I don't own because I don't feel like paying like $100 for one video game, especially an old PS1 title. Like, fuck, dude, if I can get Symphony of the Night for a reasonable price on PS1, then I should be able to get just about any other PS1 game at a comparably low rate. I don't have power bombs. This is probably gonna kill any chance of me actually turning this run into a PB. But I forgot to snag one of those on my way down. I don't know. I still think I need to do some kind of overcomplicated tournament to decide a big game to play next, even if it's just on a casual basis. I'd really like to get through Hellpoint, or at least get to a point where I have absolutely zero confidence in my ability to get past that particular point. But I don't know, I think Hellpoint, much like every other Souls game out there, even if you're not very good at the game, it still gives you enough of a chance to feel like, okay, if I actually, like, learn what's going on here, there's no way I shouldn't be able to get past it. The other thing is, yeah, have to actively set aside time, which I am very bad at doing. It's far too often. It's just like, I get home from work, get something to eat, watch YouTube for a couple hours, and then by that point in the night, it's either like getting close to midnight or it's past it already. And I just don't really have the energy anymore for streams that go deep into the night. But one of these days, man, I'm just gonna have to get past that shit. Because my backlog is way too big. I need to start playing new shit again. Yeah, I mean, when I'm getting home... Whoops. When I'm getting home after work, it really is, I just have enough time to get caught up on a couple things on YouTube and grab myself something to eat. And then, God forbid, there's actually something else on Twitch that's going on besides my own streams. I don't know, this could probably still turn out to be a pretty decent run. The other bad thing is, most of the games that I want to play through, I know are going to be, like, multiple sessions. I mean, even a game like Chicory, which was incredibly not difficult, was mostly just going around and coloring in a coloring book. That still took me a fucking age and a half to get through. So, I don't know. I think I just need to shift my priorities, I think. And do shit while I've got the time to do it. I need to stop doing casual shit like putting even more characters through Skygerfall and Skyrim. The easiest excuse I always make for myself is the fact that I'm usually very tired of physical activity when I get out of work. But, you know, if I want to do more stuff, then I just need to make more time for it. There's really no two ways about it. Whoop, come on. It'd also be a thing where I just would get like an earlier start than what I would normally be doing on some of my days off. Instead of just gorging myself on delicious tasties from my refrigerator and then taking a nap for almost the entire day. But to be fair, that's only been like the past couple of weeks. Oddly enough, it's the same issue I've been having with the heat in my apartment. I actually don't have my thermostat plugged in right now. And it is still, like, noticeably warm in my apartment. I'm able to counteract that because I have a couple of fans. But it still feels like I have my heat on even though I don't. I'll just start opening up my bedroom window. Just like for the whole day while I'm gone at work, just have my window open. That was not enough to charge a Shine Spark. Time to fatten up for winter. It might be nice if I actually could, but I still have a fast enough metabolism that I can't really gain weight like that just yet. Will probably happen in a couple years once I'm like deep into my 40s. Metabolism will just fucking stop. I just balloon by an extra 50 to 60 pounds. And none of it will go to my arms or legs. It'll all just sit in the spare tire. I also think that before any of that can get started, I definitely need to do another session where I sit down with just a handful of different video games and I actually play like 5 to 10 minutes of each one to determine whether or not it's something that I want to play through. Or if it'll even run on this fucking laptop. The two games I always bring up where it's like, I don't need to play any more of these games. I know that there's something that I'd want to play on stream. It's Record of Lodos War, Didn Wonder Labyrinth, and The Messenger. I've already played enough of those games to know that they'll run, and that I will really enjoy playing them. It's gonna happen, dude. It's gonna take me a little bit, but I'm gonna get around to it, because that game is another one of the ones that it feels really good to play that game. Like, I've only played a little bit of it, and it just feels so responsive and so nice to play. I just either need to figure out what I'm doing with Hellpoint, or just get over my whole idea of not wanting to do multiple projects at once on stream. Because I don't think I've run into enough adversity in Hellpoint to just give up on that game yet. I mean, if my memory serves me right, I still have, like, a fairly big chunk that I need to explore in that game that's right outside where that big dumb boss was. think the most intimidating thing about Hellpoint was just when I was looking up. I looked up a walkthrough just to kind of see how far along in the game I was. And I'm not very far. And I still have a lot of bosses left in front of me. And just like with any other Souls game, the boss fights are just very intimidating. And I am a big baby. Hey, there's Tilimorf taken first with a 4706. GG. Whee! Hell yeah. The Tilimorf breakfast. Oh yeah, what the fuck am I doing for the intermission? Oops. We could go with the classic. Almost gifted you a game to play while you had extra time today. Well, hey man, thank you for the thought, at the very least. Pretty sure the last game you got me was that Donut County, which is a fucking amazing game. Actually played through a couple levels of that, like, maybe like a week or two ago. And I love that game. It is so goofy, and it is such a simple concept. Oh, I've got a mobile game on my phone that is very similar to that. But it doesn't have the hilarious storyline of talking animals arguing with each other about what donut holes are. He loves the game and demands to play it every time he's over. Nice. Stick my entire arm in this bizarre machine. Ooh, Threads of Fate. Now there is a fantastic action RPG from the PS1 era. Good old Threads of Fate. Just hates the part where he has to click through dialogue. No, I always have to beat the last level. Yep. Sounds about right. Okay. Definitely not going to get a PB now. I think that dream died a while ago. Someone who has the youngest sibling, someone who was the youngest sibling never had that experience of getting the controller handed to you to beat something. Yep, I definitely remember passing the controller off to my older brother multiple times. There is one exception to that that I can think of. Just need to make sure I don't die to Mother Brain here. All right. So, the one time my brother would hand the controller off to me was in Majora's Mask. Because I was... For whatever reason, he had a really hard time getting the couples mask. And the only reason he was able to get the Fierce Deities mask was because I got him the couples mask. And then the one big time I remember always having to hand the controller off to him was in Mega Man X, getting the upgraded arm cannon early. $55.25. So we're going to be a relatively high 57. $57.40 something. Possibly less if I keep hitting her in the face. Quick check to see if I have Screw Attack equipped, and I does. Background vocals in this song are making me think this is from Disgaea. In the boat, I hit shift. 5738. GG. Another week where I don't have to erase the 57 from last week? Nice. The Witch and the 100 Knights. Yeah, I don't know this game. Oh, that is a very, very dry 8. Let's try that again. Let's maybe not point directly into my fan either. That's still a very dry 8. Finding the driest spot of the dry erase marker. Oh yeah, I actually wanted to look up where exactly I have Hellpoint installed. And then what category I have it sitting in actively. Oh yeah, Euphoria the Saga 2. There's another one I need to get through. Is it uncategorized? No, it's probably in remote play. Because for whatever reason, Hellpoint has remote play to it. Yup. Okay, yeah, that's installed on my external. All that really means is that I would need to have my headphones plugged into a different USB port. And really, I think I just need to get another hub. Air Force! Yeah, that'd probably be one way to... Probably be one way to fix what's going on with that dry erase marker. Booger Pumpkin! Pretty sure Booger Pumpkin was a professional wrestler down south. Oh, that's a better 8. There we go. Just had to let it know that I meant business. So yeah, for my achievements in Hellpoint, apparently only 18.2% of players have defeated artillery. So I'm already in a good spot with that. If I'm remembering right, my old playthrough of Rise Star was on the Sega Classics that's on Steam, and not on the console here. So that's not going to help anything. And Firebat is just going to have to record that race later. Okay, so what do we got? Basically, all of the arcade games that I've tried to load onto MAME don't work, except for Crime Fighters, and I don't want to play Crime Fighters. That's the other thing with Super Nintendo is there's not really a whole lot of like super short games. Especially taking into account games I haven't played before. Or maybe I should say, especially taking into account games that I've beaten. Because a lot of those can be relatively short. I don't think I remember how to beat Kid Chameleon. It was like a super, super short run of that game that I used to know how to do. Couldn't beat the opera section of FF6 because I couldn't read. Someday I will learn to read and won't have to do that. Batman Return of the Joker is not a long game. I just can't ever hold on to the same weapon for long enough to get it, like, fully powered. Donald Land is a short game, but it is incredibly technical. Like, unnecessarily so. Looks like we are playing Double Dare. Yeah, Felix the Cat is actually a really good game. Um, it is the NES version and the Game Boy version of Felix the Cat are extremely similar, if not the Game Boy game being just like a little bit shorter than Felix the Cat. It's a good one. I have already played all the way through it. Yeah, I played through the Game Boy one first, and then I played through the NES one, and they are both fantastic video games. I think I played through it at some point last year without looking at my notebook. Fucking Hyde lied. This is not a very long game, but it has a lot of steps to it. And it's not very easy. If I knew how to play River City Ransom, that'd be a real good one. Same with King Kong 2. It's a really solid game. I just I don't know the route to even just get through the game, period, let alone doing it quickly. Lagrange Point is an RPG, so it's got some heft. I forget how to play through the one segment of Legacy of the Wizard that I used to know. Little Nemo is not a very long game, but since you have to go around finding shit all over the levels, it can take a while. Marvel's X-Men is a god-awful video game, which is disappointing. There is always Mega Man 4, 5, and 6. And 3, because I don't think I've actually ever beaten 3 without save states. New Ghostbusters 2. Shame about this game. So hard to find a Japanese copy of this game. And I need to look up the glitched run for Rygar. Because that's not a very long game either. Power Blazer, I expect that as a dress-up game. So Power Blazer is basically like a cute, chibi Japanese version of Power Blade. It's almost the exact same game, but it's on the harder difficulty by default. And I don't think you can choose difficulties in Power Blazer. Let me check. Nope, it just dumps you right in. But, I mean, you're the same guy. The HUD is almost completely the same. A lot of the enemies are completely the same. You're a little guy, and you've got Boomerang. You can't even throw boomerangs up in this. Whereas Power Blade has selectable difficulties, and your character looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. The levels are not in the same place on the mini-map in this one compared to Power Blazer. And then Power Blade 2 is its own weird thing. You get this cool intro, though. And then here's your stage select. Oh, you have a slide. Forgot that you had a slide in this. And Power Blade is a game that I absolutely loved as a kid. Used to rent it all the time. Never really messed around with the second one. I didn't even know about Power Blazer until the era of emulation. Where are we at? Let's at least get this opened. Oh yeah, I do have Vey, but that's also an RPG. Oddly enough, it's not really like that long of an RPG, if I'm remembering the length of the long play. It's like 5 hours, maybe? But that's not what I'm here for. Reset. I'm not sure that that's the route I want to do right now. I need to find another route in this game. We've got lightning dinos, we've got all booby traps, and we've got all genies. % route seems good. The one thing I always bring up about this game. Where's the game facts? There is the typewriter. That's almost at the end of the game. The typewriter has a lot of buttons to press. And can take you right to the end of the game. Do a route that involves the map like in all corners or something. I don't think so. But I want to... take another look. Oh wow, I can't access the map in the first room? Okay. Yeah, because the map in this game has a very weird formation. I'm just trying to think if are like recurring gags besides just the genie, because that's the big one. The genie shows up enough that the guy that wrote the Game Facts guide started getting sick and tired of seeing the genie. Okay, but what about the idea I had of going to the typewriter room? That's 18C. Can I get there from Platform in the Sky? I can get to 17B. Then I can get to 18A. But I need to get to 18C. And I can't get to 18C from 18A. How many gags in this game involve boobs? Unfortunately, I think there's only like 3. So you get to the potion room with the kid and the dog. And one of the potion will make them grow boobs. And then all of a sudden they grow boobs all over their body. Then they hiccup back to normal. Then there's the balloon machine that makes a topless mermaid. I think that's it. So that's not really a good one. Okay, can I get to 18D? I can. From 18A. Okay, so let's turn the Wii remote back on. Let's go ahead and load my save state at Platform in the Sky. And we need button 10 to go to 17B. Oh, almost all of the gags in this game are questionable. There's very few of the gags in this game that are, like, actually funny. Okay, so I can go down, 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 or up, down, down. I think down 3 times is gonna work out the best. It should keep the cursor, yeah, right on the down button. This will take me to 18D. Should take me to a room full of washing machines. All gags where your character should die. I think there's one of those in this room. Be a dog face at the bottom. Get fucked. Alright, but then the chicken face will take me up to 18C, which is the typewriter. A turns into a rocket. What is B going to turn into? All the ones that mess with the dog. B pooped on me. Oh god, it's alive. Yeah. Oddly enough, that's one that, that's a recurring gag in a lot of these, is poop. Oh god. That one's terrifying. Or where, like, something throws up, or, like, slime comes out of it. That. Another song from a Dune game. Really surprised the genie doesn't show up in this floor. Or I guess in this room specifically. That's not a firecracker. Okay, gotta skip J. J is a teleport. I is for fireworks. Whee! M, N, and O are all teleports. Let's go to P. Not sure about this one. Calls it suicidal bubble. Yeah, S is the only one that has made sense so far. U is a teleport. W should be similar to V. Yep, there's just two of them. See, even the kid was disappointed. A couple of these letters just like turn around and run off. I'll never guess this one. Z is for violin. Some of those aren't music notes. Yeah, M and N take you to the last level. It's gotta be something like right in the middle. The aggravating thing is a lot of these rooms don't connect in convenient ways. And a lot of the interesting rooms are like right up front in the map. So, again, the most aggravating thing about this game is the navigation. Okay, where does 17C put me? Puts me at the piano concert. So let's go there. And let's do something dumb. Push the last button. Which leads to one of the game over rooms. And once again, you have to get to all of the game over screens in this game in order to get 100%. Even just going to 100% rooms. Now Now, the troubling thing is, I don't know which save file that was on. So I'm probably going to have to erase another one of the ones on here. And also, I think I'm going to have to get another race channel started up. Friday night, any percent at 11 p comma. No, at 11 p.m. And we'll probably draw an in toaster for this one. Unless Firebat makes a surprise appearance. Wow, we've actually only had, like, a couple of people requesting songs tonight, so I've been able to get through my entire request line. Carnation Greater. Oh yeah, we got some good shit coming up. Wii remote turned off again. Well, let's assume we're on this one. Oh yeah. So this one said 94%. I'm on 18B. I can't get to 19 from here. And get back to 17. Oh, I have 96 seen. Let's go ahead and save over the 94 then. So does that make the map any different? I'm on 96. How do I get to 19? Well, and I can't from here. doesn't seem like it's letting me save over that file. But will it let me save over that one? It's still only counting it as 94%, even though the HUD at the bottom says 96. Am I pressing the wrong button? No. Whatever. I don't know how saving in this game works. And why I'm seeing 96% scenes here. But then I go to the spots where I've just saved. And I mean, it sure looks like it saved. But it's giving me 94 instead of 96. Because I can tell it's saved because my time went from 5 hours even on this one to 550 when I made that initial save. Whatever. I need to get some manner of Super Metroid loaded up. But yeah, just trying to get from one room to another in this without even watching gags would still take a lot of routing. It's having to take into account every way that you can get to any of these rooms and where you can go from any of those rooms. I really need a screenshot of the in-game map, and I need it to be blown up by like a couple 100% and then printed off on multiple sheets of paper so I can like plaster it onto a wall or onto a big cork board or something. See, because like my process for figuring out all genies and all booby traps, those were easy ones to figure out because you go through the notes, you go through the game facts notes, and you find every instance of the thing that you're looking for. And then you write down where all of those rooms are. So like 5C, 5D, 7D, 9G, 10H, 13A, 17B. These are all rooms that have the genie in them. And then next to the room number, you put which button on the controller you have to hit in order to find the genie. All Booby Traps was the same kind of thing. Although I think I have that in a different notebook. And I just have the route for All Booby Traps written down. So you don't get to see the work. Would a route optimizer be something fun to use? Yes, but I'm not sure how it would work. I mean, if we're just loading in the text from the game facts, again, I don't know. I would like a big physical representation of this map in Panic. And I don't think I could find one just on a cursory search on Google, but let me check. Let's see, Sega CD Panic map. Well, there is a map on GameFAQs. I may have spoken too soon. Every other result is... Almost every other result is from Sonic CD. Okay, hold on. This page is not in English. It also doesn't have a link to the GameFAQs map. Oh god. Okay, Can I save this as something? I don't want to save it as a complete web page. Oh. There's a difference between the Japanese version path and the US version path. That's how the BIOS could come to bite me in the butt sometimes. Alright, let me just, it seems like a fun math problem with a lot of loop logic. Let me post what I just found in Discord. Oh. Murph is practicing hard mode in Double Dragon Revive. I will worry about that after the stream. I'd really like if I could get that picture that they're using for the map, like, saved on my own. But anyways, I will be right back. All right. Honestly, that map on GameFAQs isn't too bad. Um, Again, I would like a bigger version of it. That I don't have to like scroll around on a web page that I can't increase the resolution of. But that's a me problem because I'm using a laptop. Instead of this big honking TV being my native resolution for what I'm looking at an image that's being ported over from a laptop. And honestly, I'm not sure how much logic is involved in Panic. Because it's not like, well, every room has at least one way into it and one way out of it. And some rooms have multiple ways out. And some rooms have multiple ways in. I think honestly it'd be probably more fruitful to like, oh, what's the right way to phrase this? I don't know if I have the right way to phrase this. The way I've always done it is I have reverse engineered a path through the game. I've tried to figure out from looking at the GameFAQs notes, not the map, the notes. I figure out where I want to end up. And then I backtrack through the previous level. And I say, okay, which rooms do I need to get to that will lead me to where I need to go? Then it's, okay, I found that, so then I take another step back. And it's like, okay, what room will lead me here? And then what room will lead me here? And that's how I've put together the routes that I've got, is from reverse engineering them. And I think I'm going to give it another 5 minutes. And then I'm just going to put a timer up, because it's 11 and I'm the only one in the race. Because otherwise there's so much shit in Panic to try to keep track of that honestly I thought it was the best move years and years ago to print out a physical copy of the GameFAQs notes, which is a massive thing that is still somehow being held together by a single staple. I'm not sure how. It's not as big as... It's not as big as the Llama Lana wiki, which I decided to print out. Did that in an era when I did not have internet access. Oh, yeah. For Pete's sake. I on the USA route. I believe I am. I'd have to I'd have to take a look and see what the differences are. Because that might explain some discrepancies that I was noticing because of because I think I have some Japanese BIOS files. Difference looks like just the first room. No. That can't just be that. I swear there's got to be a difference with the room with the cola machine. The Yoshim Coke machine. I swear there's got to be something different between the versions in that room. Otherwise, I took notes wrong for multiple different routes until I played through it and figured out that I was dumb. Because I distinctly remember following my notes, getting to the Coke machine room, hitting the button that my notes said to hit, and it took me somewhere completely different. Now, that could just be user error. I'm not putting user error past myself, but I'd be a little surprised if that was the only difference between the two versions. Oh, it has been 5 minutes and no one else has shown up. So I'm gonna quit out and kill off Hex Chat. Let's get Live Split opened up. And let's make sure I actually capture it. There it is. Image doesn't show a flag by the Coke machine. Okay, fair enough. I'm not the one that's actively looking at it right now. I'm the one that's about to start up a run of a silly Super Nintendo game. Make sure the Wii Remote is still on. And 3, 2, 1, let's go. I will reorder my windows here in a second. But yeah, I have been, to the best of my knowledge, I've been using the US version my whole time playing Panic, except for the odd time or two when I may have been trying to figure out what was up with the BIOS files. $59.84. And at 42.56. Probably just have to go to the GameFAQs notes for Panic and do a Control F and see how many times certain words show up. Oops. Still think that in a live setting, like a GDQ, for example, I think the best bet would to do something like an any percent run immediately followed, well, an any percent run paired up with an all booby traps run. Because technically all booby traps gets you a different ending. And it's the only way to get a different actual ending to the game. Or you do get like a special cutscene. Whereas the game over screens, they give you that, you failed your mission, you'll be sent back to the beginning of the game message, and then you get kicked back to the Gasse. Because, yeah, all booby traps is the only way to get that special cutscene. It's just like the Earth, it's like slowly transforms into a giant brown ball and gets rolled up by a giant dung beetle. need to go back to that one stream I did where I called it, you know, pushing buttons in panic that I haven't pushed yet, or something like that. I might have gone through the game over rooms in that stream, but I'm not sure. That's something I'd have to check for myself. It might just be easier to start with a new file. So it'd be easier to keep track of. Instead of having to wonder, it's like, okay, have I been to this game over room? Have I been to this game over room? But yeah, so far the best way of navigating through that game for me has been reverse engineering. On top of all that, if I'm looking for something kind of like Lightning Dinos, where I just am looking for an interesting room to push all the buttons in, that requires me actually going through the notes and trying to identify such a room and then reverse engineering a route. And even though the typewriter room has a lot of buttons to press, I still think Lightning Dinos is already the most interesting room in the whole game. There's so many questions. You know, even just from the name of the room, Platform in the Sky. Is that the platform my character is standing on? Is it the lightning generating thing hovering above the city? Why is there a city down there? What do the people in this city have to say about this strange mechanical thing in the sky that generates lightning in the shape of dinosaurs? Another interesting one might be, um, since I always say that Panic is a game that gives me the feeling of being lost in a museum. I know that there's a number of rooms that do literally put you in a museum in Panic. So I try to find all of those. There's at least 3 that I can think of. But again, the thing is, I think that most of those are like located right near the beginning of the game. Whereas Lightning Dinos is so close to the end that that route is really front-loaded with navigation. Then you get to the dinos, then it's only like 2 or 3 more rooms, and then you're at the end. And really, the genie was like the only other like through line that I could think of where he just keeps appearing in random rooms all throughout the game. Now, the real fucking nightmare would be a randomizer for Panic, where you randomized what each of the buttons would do. That would be an absolute nightmare. Because then you're literally holding on for dear life and flying by the seat of your pants. So I'm pretty sure that would not be a good idea. I think I really just need to take a closer look at that GameFAQs map. But still, I really like a printed out version of that map. I can't find the thing. I'm also doubtful of how worthwhile an expenditure of time it is to sink a whole bunch of time into figuring stuff out in Panic. So, I mean, yeah, it's a neat game. And without having a direct conversation with Stuff is Stuff, you know, I don't know how much he knows about the game. I think Diddy was the only other person on SRC that expressed interest in playing Panic, and I think it was mostly he was just kind of learning about it when he decided to pick it up. And without having a direct conversation with Frank-O-Matic, who's the guy on YouTube that I learned about Panic through, I can't sit here and honestly say that I'm the authority on the game. I definitely think I'm an authority on the game. But I would like to believe that at least one of these people that I mentioned actually knows more about it than I do. However much about it there is to actually know. And you know, there's probably some people out there that grew up with the game that know more about it than I do. Just because they've spent more time with it. That being said, I have been playing this game off and on for like the past 10 years, at least. So, this is once again why I consider myself an authority on the game. Fuck. Give me that W. A W flavored cherry beam. Or my cherry flavored W beam. Either way. It's delicious. Good wall jump, you fucking idiot. Let's see. Back to thinking about the museum route. How many rooms can I actually think of to end you up in the museum? You've got the Mona Lisa. You've got the Thinker. I think there's like a weird multi-armed statue that's in a museum. And there's that one weird statue that looks like it's made entirely out of butts. So there's 4. There are also a bunch of rooms that you go to with just the kid that you revisit with the dog. Might be interesting to identify those. Possibly even the rooms where you end up with both characters in the room. I really want it to be like recurring characters that you see multiple times through the gags. Something like the genie. There's a couple of like weird alien characters that show up in a couple of different spots. There's also, of course, actual dinosaurs, not just the lightning ones. Oh, there's another museum room, of course. The museum room that has the giant T-Rex skeleton. So there's 5 rooms right there. And then you just watch every gag in all 5 of those rooms. Okay. That's something. I can think of more museum rooms. That might just have to be it. Except for, like, things vomiting or excreting slime in some fashion. Mr. Krabs! And we got worse crabs, which is not good because I burned down the clinic last time I was there. The secret of shampoo! Hmm. Yeah, except for those 5 rooms that I mentioned, I'm not readily able to think of any other museum rooms in Panic. He's coming in too hot. Just gotta hit him with a big boy shot. Of course. Got him. Okay, so now I just need to hit him with a couple missiles, and he should be good. Alright. He's dead now. I mean, I guess they might not be recurring characters, but there are a lot of rooms in Panic that feature just wacky alien creatures in general. Where there's like a whole group of these weird looking alien monsters. A couple of them are recurring, like a couple of them are in a couple different spots. There's one guy with a big white face and big red lips. He's got 6 arms, and he's wearing like a puffy red winter coat. And I swear to God, he says something about the word hand job. Then he finishes by walking off the camera and saying, "Man, I gotta stop hanging out on this street corner." I don't know why I suddenly started flying off to the right there. My hand was nowhere near the D-pad. That was spooky. Well, too damn high. The funniest part about that gag is the fact that you can't, like, understand what he's saying at first, except for the word handjob. But then you really distinctly hear him say, "Man, I gotta stop hanging out on this street corner." And it doesn't make any sense. He's this weird-looking alien dude, and it's like, where is this even coming from? Man, I gotta stop hanging out on this street corner. You could do like every instance of digitized photos of real-life historical figures. You'd have to identify them first, which might be an issue. I think Thomas Edison shows up twice. There's a couple different instances where someone gets a gun pulled on them. One of those is in one of the museum rooms. In the weird statue room that looks like it's made entirely of butts. It's like an arm comes out of the statue and shoots one of the tourists. I think those salarymen only show up in the elevators. One that might actually work out and be a bit longer than I'm giving it credit for would be the kind of morbid one that you had mentioned earlier about every single gag where the kid would be dead. The kid or the dog. Because there's a lot of gags in that game that would totally kill those characters if they weren't cartoons. Oh yeah. Yoshi baby. And you feel dead dog percent. There's definitely a couple where the dog ends up dead. Because it's basically the same... It's like the dog version of the kid rooms. And a lot of those gags are just repeated, but with the different character. It's like there's that one room that has the big green splotch that's in the middle of it. And basically every gag in that room is just like the room folding in half and either squishing the kid or the dog along with the green blob in the middle. 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits, I gotta get rid of these dogs. trying to think of any of the other, like, recurring characters that you see in the credits. There's the Hula Sumo with the cybernetic arm, but he only shows up, like, once, I think, outside of the room where he's the center of all the gags. And he says something about going to Hawaii and accepting a lei. One of my phrases I've been holding on to that I haven't been using when in your stream. He's dead. See, there's a bunch of, like, really great one-off characters in Panic that you don't ever see again outside of, like, one room. Made it up there with the spark still going. One of these days I'll be able to make it up there fast enough to actually hit the shine spark up there. And then I'm gonna fucking hit the door while it's still opening. Kind of why I wish I had some kind of voice-activated thing, like an Alexa or something. I'd give her the game facts page for the Panic notes. It's just like, how many times does this word appear? Okay, how many times does this word appear? That first one I shot from the corner here looked like it hit him right in the mouth instead of the belly. That is pretty much as fast as I can get Dragon to go. The other thing I was thinking of, I guess somewhat inspired by playing through Sheepy earlier, is how many times in Panic does a rainbow appear? Because I can think of at least 3 different rooms. There's like the room that has all the light bulbs in it. There's this room where you're like out by a waterfall, and all of the different gags in that room are just like rainbows of different shapes show up. Like you get a zigzag chevron rainbow. The one I'm not entirely sure if I'm remembering right or not is one where you're on like a little iceberg or a little floating chunk of ice with a baby penguin, and like you enter the room by crawling out of a refrigerator. Pretty sure that one of the gags in that room is that like something in the sky breaks or does something and it transforms into a rainbow. But I don't know, I think I like the idea of the museum rooms better. Ping-ponging back and forth between ideas. The all gags that would kill your character run. I think the crowning gag for that one would have to be the skydiving scene. Because one of the gags is that you pull the ripcord on your parachute and all of your character's organs come out. Crowning gag, whatever you want. But I honestly don't believe that there's any recurring characters quite like the genie. There are like the playable characters, besides Slap the Kid and Stick the Dog. There's an angel and a devil that are also quote-unquote playable characters. They're the other two character icons for the save slots. And the devil has a cameo in the Lightning Dino room that I usually skip. But trying to track down every gag with the devil in it could be interesting. But he never has a visual gag. His gag is always something that he says. And due to the audio mixing and Panic, a lot of the times you can't understand what he's saying. Yes, Slap the Kid. The kid and the dog, respectively, are named Slap and Stick. And there's at least one room in which Slap does get slapped. If I'm remembering right, it's the big robotic pig. Smacks him right across the face. That's like the one instance I can think of. And the funnier gag in that room is when the robot pig just starts launching missiles at Slap and he runs away screaming. Cool. Come on, man, get me out of here. I know the angel shows up in a gag or two across the entirety of Panic. The only one I can think of, though, is where he says something about, I thought there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, well, I guess not. But yeah, the devil. Pretty sure the devil has more cameos than the angel. And then, of course, they both show up right at the end of the game before Slap and Stick walk by at the end of the credits. Good Kago. I think Museum Percent is probably going to be the best bet. I'm just going to have to write down every instance from the notes of a room name saying museum. Shit. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Yar. Yar ho har. Speaking of Yar ho har, I don't think that there are any pirates in Panic. Like, I can't think of a single gag that involves pirates in that game. That's weird. I mean, there are boats, and there are, beach scenes. I don't think there's any pirates in that game. Now that would be a job for Control F on the game facts notes. I may have to provide a link to that as well. Oh, fuck it. I always feel bad when I start running past super missiles on this part of the run. So I want to say that like most of, if not all of the boats or watercraft that they show in Panic are more modern. And I don't think that there's a scene where you're like on the deck of a boat. I have to say, maybe in that like Scooby-Doo hallway, where there's a bunch of characters that are all running back and forth between the rooms. Maybe there you might have like some little cartoon pirates on a boat, but I don't think so. Have a chance to do a tiny bit of multitasking here. So I am almost positive that those are the game facts notes that I ended up printing off. I didn't keep the first page, I started at level 1. So any of the preamble before it says level 1, I didn't print out. Because technically, it was the second time that I was printing out the notes, and I had just run my printer out of black ink. So the notes that I've currently got are printed off in red because I didn't have any black ink. Exactly. I would think that like a large printed out version of the map would be a lot easier to follow than the notes, but I don't know. I'd really like a big physical copy of the map so I could do the whole thing where I pin different colored lines of string from one room to the other. But again, I've only like real briefly looked at the picture map. It's also because I can't get a good view of all of it at once. Again, the me problem of having a fucking laptop monitor as my base resolution. I could go to a much higher resolution with the screen that I've got. But since it's natively on a laptop, it only goes so high. Yeah, you keep that ketchup to yourself, you bitch. Got her. Still, it's a better pictorial map than I thought existed for Panic. Because I guess I've never really looked for one. Like, I was sitting here thinking for a hot second, I'm gonna need to draw a map for Panic. Just to have some kind of external reference. Get this baby off of me! So 55:44 would have been the dot time. So this is either going to be a really high 57 or a really low 58. And I seem to be at an okay spot, and then I get immediately punched out of it by onion rings. God damn it, Rainwave. Speaking of well-known indie games that I need to finally get around to fucking playing one of these days, I have always heard good things about Bastion, and I have just never actually sat down and played it. I was way too close to the wall. Cool, thanks for spin jumping. And hit the button. I found me GG. Oh, just in time for some beautiful Starbound music to kick in. I love it. Holy shit. Yeah, that hasn't happened in a while. Getting 257s? I'll take it. Clunk. Clunk, punt, crash. Alright, give me these panic notes. We can go ahead and exit out of that. Yeah, the word pirate does not exist in this walkthrough. Yep, this is it. Now. A museum, the word museum only shows up once. The word statue shows up 14 times. Oh, there are... The giant moai heads show up a lot. Some of those are in those weird elevator rooms that look exactly the same, but you're still moving. So I don't know if that one would work. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to go through Just take notes in the notebook. There is an animal room. Deer Force! So, if I'm remembering right, the animal room is basically all like animal head trophies. They're all like the stuffed and mounted animal heads. And I think there's another room that like makes there's some machine that makes like weird combinations of animals. But either way, that's going to have to be something I figure out in the upcoming days. Because as for tonight, we did it. We beat a game twice. And we managed to do it in under 58 minutes both times. So that's pretty good. This is what happens when you get like 3 out of 4 halfway decent boss fights. Even 2 out of 4 halfway decent boss fights. My route navigation wasn't complete dog shit this time out like it's been in the past, so that's always good. But anyways, that's going to do it for me here tonight. So we send a big thank you out to Ponk for doing some gaming here tonight. A big thank you to Tilimorf for the race at 9. And a big thank you to Real Work for helping me with some ideas for Panic. I'm definitely gonna spend some time thinking about this game over the next week. And hopefully, if I can remind myself to do it, might do more than just think about this game on one of my days off. Done did it! Thank you very much, Real Work. You have yourself a good night. And for everybody else, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And I'll catch you next time. See ya!